Hello, this is Jackie Moore, and this will be your podcast version to accompany our class Principles of Marketing 325. Marketing is a very eclectic field, and as we go through the semester, what you'll find is that marketing is all about solving people's problems through providing them goods and services to meet their needs. And what you'll see is that marketing includes not only the function that is performed, for example, the function of advertising, but it also includes the institutions such as the advertising agencies or market research agencies that provide those functions. Marketing is also a process in the sense that it's a sequence of steps that companies go through to develop a marketing plan. And as we go through the semester, you'll learn all these aspects of marketing. At its heart, marketing is designed to create, communicate, and deliver products and services to meet people's needs. And in that sense, this function should provide value not only for customers who are buying the product, but those customers are sometimes called clients. For example, if you're in the business of providing financial services. Companies also have business partners. For example, if you fly on an airline, Alaska for example, you might rely on their partner Horizon Air. And society at large also needs to benefit through marketing activities. We'll go through the field of nonprofit marketing as part of our class. As I mentioned, marketing is all about meeting people's needs, and oftentimes the diverse groups that marketers are designed to work with are called stakeholders. This includes the buyers, sellers, investors, people who live in the community where the business is located, citizens, for example, when a government engages in marketing, and the consumers. So stakeholders are designed to capture all of the people who are affected by a business's activities. Best practices marketing today is designed to follow the marketing concept, which is comprised of three critical elements. The marketing concept essentially says that a company should first conduct research to identify what customer needs are and how to satisfy those needs. Then the company should develop the product and services to meet those needs. And the third component is that the company should do these things in such a way to ensure its long-term profitability so it can continue to be in business for the long term. Again, the marketing concept starts with the idea that marketing is about using research to identify what customer needs are, second, to develop a product to satisfy those needs, and third, to do so while maintaining profitability over time. In this first chapter on marketing, a lot of this deals with setting the vocabulary in place for us to have a lexicon to discuss marketing. What you'll see is that the section on page 12 does a good job of providing an overview of the types of utility or value that marketing provides. And for much of this introductory material, I would like you to go ahead and go to those definitions in the book so that you understand what is form utility, what is place utility, what is time utility. I'll give you one example here to get you started, and I'll focus on possession utility. Possession utility essentially is how marketers allow consumers to own, use, and enjoy the product. One of the most important parts of possession utility is that for many products, consumers can't pay outright for those products because they're too expensive. Think of buying your first home, or think of buying a car. In this particular case, one of the utilities that marketing provides is financing terms to allow customers to take possession of the product even before they've paid for it in full. So that's an example of one of the 4 utilities that marketing is designed to offer. Marketing is oftentimes viewed as synonymous with exchange. For example, it's very obvious when you as a consumer exchange money for the goods or services that you buy. What's maybe a little less obvious is in the case of nonprofit exchanges, where a volunteer may exchange feelings of doing good for the community in which she lives in exchange for the nonprofit getting the benefit of her donation or her time. Think of a politician. In exchange for your vote, a politician agrees to serve on your behalf. Now certainly some of these exchanges you might not get what you bargained for, but the basic idea behind marketing is this idea of voluntary exchange. You can choose to buy or not. As in most disciplines, marketing has also gone through a series of stages in its development as a field. And we'll review each of these stages briefly and focus primarily on the last 2 because that's where the state of marketing currently exists. The first era of marketing was called the production era. And this was dominated by the idea of how do companies produce and manufacture goods most efficiently. This came about in the 1950s, shortly after World War I, when our economy was gearing up to essentially go from a wartime economy into a consumer economy. Marketing was not very important here. In fact, the marketing concept wasn't followed. And the idea was, I'll make you a car, it'll be one model, and it will be black, and you can buy it or not. So the idea was to maximize production efficiencies. The second era of marketing was known as the selling era. And in this particular case, this was characterized by a fairly aggressive sales function in which marketing was designed essentially to get the product into consumers' hands. And this has given marketing a bad name. Most of us, when we think about the negative aspects of marketing, we do think about pushy salespeople. This is not considered to be best practices marketing today. The third era of marketing is the relationship era. And the idea here really is to focus on the marketing concept, also called a customer orientation, which is a philosophy of making decisions in the company that focuses on understanding and satisfying what the customer needs and wants. In this particular era is when marketing became increasingly important to the firm. And what's interesting is during this time, the total quality movement actually came into practice. While most of us understand TQM to be focused on 0 defects in production and manufacturing, the fact is, at its very heart, TQM is based on understanding how to deliver quality to the customer. And we will come back to the marketing intersection with TQM later in the semester. The most important part I'd like to mention here, though, is that TQM is focused on meeting customer needs. And if it's not focused on customer needs, there's a mismatch between the operations philosophy and the marketing philosophy. The current era of marketing is focused on 3 particular aspects, which are known as the triple bottom line. The triple bottom line includes a focus on financial profitability, which has always been what accounting people called the bottom line. The bottom line is profit when you learned your accounting books. But now that economic bottom line also needs to be balanced with meeting societal goals. Societal goals include things regarding human resource practices and employment policies, the way a company sources the inputs for its good, for instance, fair trade coffee, fair trade chocolate, as well as any efforts that a company undertakes to contribute to social causes. These might include health care for poor people, education initiatives. For example, in our community, Staples is partnering with the United Way on a back-to-school initiative for elementary school-aged children, solving poverty, homelessness. Even the arts can be considered a social cause, and Best Practices Business Today asks companies the question, how are you participating in society to benefit society? This can be partnerships with nonprofits, and sometimes this is called corporate social responsibility. A third important aspect of the triple bottom line is what is a company doing in terms of its environmental policies and its impact on the planet. Okay, a little more detail on that people component of the triple bottom line. There is a term called social marketing, sometimes called societal marketing, and this essentially focuses on nonprofit marketing. How do marketers satisfy needs that benefit society? And if you Google the phrase positive marketing, you'll see this is a really important trend in the marketing discipline. With respect to the third component of the triple bottom line, the focus on the environment. This is often called sustainability. For example, in Missoula, we do have the Sustainable Business Council, and this is an organization focused on how to help the companies in Missoula understand their impacts on the environment. The definition of sustainability from the United Nations essentially says what are organizations doing to meet the needs of people today while ensuring that future generations can also have their needs met, which obviously means we can't kill the planet. Sometimes this is called green marketing, and we're very excited in the business school to be offering this semester our first course on sustainable business strategies. This is going to be a theme that we look at through the course of the semester because it's so important today. At this point, we'll go ahead and conclude this first third of our overview of Chapter 1.